Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of JDM Masters, and on today's episode we're going to be comparing the Tsukuba Circuit, real circuit versus virtual games like Gran Turismo. We're here right now on the main straight and we'll be going through some of the corners with an in-car video, and so we'll be comparing it side by side, so come and join us. Tsukuba Circuit is located in, well, Tsukuba, which is in Ibaraki Prefecture, which is about 40 kilometers away from the center of Tokyo. Now, it's in a really wide countryside area, it's away from a lot of residents, a lot of farms around. It's actually in a place called Shimotsuma City, and the Tsukuba Circuit is actually called Tsukuba 2000, the circuit that you guys know about. There's also a smaller circuit here called the 1000, which is about 1.3 kilometers long. But what we're interested in today is to talk about this circuit right here. It's about 2.5 kilometers long. A little history about it. The circuit hosts F3 and F4 and a couple of races, but it's not as big to host like Super GT or Super Taikyu. It's constructed in the 1970s and is a JAF approved circuit. Very popular with track day goers, and of course very famously seen on the best motoring videos, which a lot of you might have watched, and a lot of battles take place here, as you can see from the reference videos here as well. And the circuit is quite small. There's 14 corners, a long straight. It's extremely challenging, especially for higher powered cars. Many track day goers who come here usually come from Tokyo or from Saitama, the nearby areas. And like today, we're here with Indra Mustafa, who's got his R35 GTR. We're going to be running around, and we're doing an in-car camera, and we'll also be going to place it in the same way in the game. We're going to put it side by side, and we're going to be comparing how real life and the game, whether it matches up, whether it's the same or not. So let's have a look.
So the GTR is a very heavy car. So compared to the other cars on the track that you might be facing, lighter S2000s, a much more sleek S15 Silvia, for example, these guys will go head toe-to-toe with you in the braking. But one thing they don't have in their car is this massive VR38 twin turbo engine. So use that to your advantage. Go easy on the brakes, focus more on the exit, and when you're just at a straight line, just give it the full gas, and the car will do everything else. So my advice for heavy cars is that easy on the braking, slow in, get that car straight, and then fast out. So in 2 days, I'll be heading to Tsukuba Circuit. Really looking forward to it. It's for a track event. But today, we're going to be looking at Gran Turismo Sport. This is a game that I've been playing for a long time now. Up to this point, I've been treating it as a game, but the cap has convinced me to try to play it as how you would treat your car. So for example, you know, if it's in the game, you will redline it to the max, you would brake the latest as you can, you would try to take the corners as fast as you can without thinking, keeping in mind that, you know, your tires and all the things that might break down. So today we're going to be taking this game, keeping in mind that you want to go home after a track day. So for example, not driving it to the red line, keeping in mind that your tires are very expensive. You have to preserve the engine, your gearbox, especially for the GTR, because the gearboxes are very flimsy in these cars. So yeah, really excited. I have never done this before, so I'm pretty excited for it. Also, this will be my first time in Tsukuba Circuit. Up to this point, I've only played it in games. I'll be actually visiting the circuit in real life in my GTR, which is, you know, one of the dream come true. You've seen it in Best Motoring, you've seen it in YouTube, you've seen how the all veteran drivers drive the track, cutting the 1 minute, you know, that's like it's something that I would like to try. And yeah, I'll be getting the opportunity in 2 days, so I'm really excited for it.
So now we're going to be talking about how Gran Turismo Sport, at least, the simulator game which we play quite a lot, and it helped you to prepare for coming to Tsukuba 2000. Now, how does real life compare to when you played it in Gran Turismo Sport?
Well, there are some places where it's very similar, but there are some places where it's very different as well. So, for example, the similarity we can talk about is the amount of understeer. That, you know. So on the simulator, you kind of get a sense of what the car will do on the track. So you kind of get a feeling where this car is gonna understeer in this corner. And if you go at this speed, so you know it's not gonna stop in time if you brake here.
That really shows how accurate games are, especially Gran Turismo, especially with road cars, not race cars in particular. You feel what it's gonna do, and then when you play that, and in real life, it really felt the same.
Of course, you know, you can't say it's exactly the same.
Of course not. Yeah.
The similar points when you go on an actual track, you kind of can adapt faster. For example, in the simulator, you see the board, you brake 150 mark, you will stop. At the track, maybe you need to brake a bit earlier because we have the human factor of fear.
Absolutely true.
And
absolutely
it's
true.
my first time, so I'm building up towards the 150 mark. So you brake 180, you brake 170, and you slowly make your way there. But you have to also remember, the main difference of simulator and real life is that you have real tires.
And these tires will wear out, and you need to adjust these tire pressures, like we talked about in the previous video. You can't keep going on.
Yes. One thing you can't mimic is that the similarity between. You can't mimic tire life.
Yeah.
Yes. You can try. There are some games where you play and they can get very close to it, but you can never get this the same.
Absolutely. There's too many parameters to consider.
Yes. Too many unknown variables. During the day itself, for example, track temperature, climate, maybe it's summertime, maybe it's winter time, it might be raining, strong winds, someone spilled oil on the track, water.
Yes, that's very true.
Yes.
Track surfaces do change
Very quick.
very, very quickly, and it's quite impossible for games to mimic every single part of the track on the left side, on the right side. And when you're driving in real life, when your tires are warmed up, already at the limit of grip, you're going to the corner, you think, well, I could brake here, the car could turn, but for some reason it starts understeer, or worse, oversteer. And you know, got to be careful with cars. And just the rules is one thing. In real life, you don't want to hit other cars. So
That
this
is
sense
Yes.
of spatial awareness is very important.
Very good point. Because in the game, you don't think about other cars. You think about me, track, and the car I'm driving. Here, you have to look front, you have to look back, you have to look at the sides. Because you're driving with another 10 drivers on the track.
You got to use your mirrors.
You gotta use your mirrors.
Use your mirrors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that is a very important point. Thank you for pointing that out.
You did use your mirrors, did you?
I use them a lot today.
Of course.
When I'm cooling down, especially. Yeah. You
Right.
don't want to get in other people's way.
Right,
It's
right,
all
right.
manners. Yeah.
Now, here at Tsukuba 2000, and you can see here from the corners, games these days are so accurate that every single piece of furniture, the shell station, the start-finish line, and even the marshal posts, they're all very accurate. However, a game is still 2D, and when you're looking through the cockpit in a real car, you also feel these G-forces, which, as you said earlier, affects the human body, and it's something called fear comes in.
Yes.
And you're feeling that grip of the steering wheel. You're going at a much higher pace than you would in the street, maybe even on the toge.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Maybe this adrenaline.
Well, the adrenaline is always there, but the fear factor is also there. Like we have mentioned before, we want to go home after a nice track day, have some lunch, go home one piece. So the fear factor is always going to be there.
Yeah.
But what I have experienced from driving simulator and driving real life is that your body kind of adapts itself, because it's so similar. The speed you're going, the braking points, your body adapts to it over time. You know?
Very interesting.
Yeah. And most important part, the gears. Here on the simulator, I go third gear on the last corner. Here I went fourth gear, and I realized, oh wait, I need to be in third gear.
Right.
And that improved my time a lot.
Right.
So it's the awareness.
Right.
Yes.
And you feel, because you feel the engine in real life, you hear the sound, you can actually know where you have power. Now, that's also something in the game, even if the acceleration seems very fast virtually, but in real life, you will be able to feel how much power you're putting when you put the accelerator, and that kind of gives you this feeling, as you said, about how fast you should go. So games do give you a sense, it's basically theory.
Yes, it's basically theory, it's basically what you should do, but it's not what you're supposed to do sometimes, in some cases, for example. Like, you know, the game say, oh, you can go 200 in this corner, but you tried going 200 in this corner in real life.
It's not going to work.
Your left foot's going to be on the
So which brings us to our last point of comparing simulators to real life, is that when you want to use a simulator effectively to train in real life, you have to be always aware. And it also helps if you happen to have a similar car in the game that you would drive in real life, assuming you are going to use the game for theory training when you come to the circuit, to be aware that you're not always going to go to the red line, you're not always going to like bang down gears, you know, you have to be very moderate, which is realistic.
What we did, you gave me a really good advice the other day, where you're not going to be shifting at 7,000 RPMs in your GT.
No.
You're going to break it. And I took that into account today, and I realized I don't want to go 7,000 RPMs in this car.
Yeah.
You know, it's my car.
Yeah.
And you made me realize that you can have fun without going mad crazy. But, you know, a lot of people say that, oh, it's just a game, but simulator games have gone a long way from back then till now. In my experience, in my opinion, you can use a simulator to improve your times on the track, because you can go 1,000 times on a simulator. You can only go so many times sometimes.
So it's like all that hours spent on a simulator will prepare you mentally, also maybe physically, because it's a physical. You know, I'm not a scientist. I don't know the word for it, but what I'm trying to say is that when you have all of that muscle memory input from the game, it does actually transfer into real life.
It does.
To a certain extent.
Yes, muscle memory. Very good point. Muscle memory, because your eyes and your brain, you know, they actually work. You might think you're just looking at a TV screen, but exactly, you're looking at the details, because they're so similar. The track is so similar, everything's so similar. Your muscle memory works as if you're in the actual game, but you're driving in real life.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I can't explain how good it is. But I really recommend, for a track day, go at least 30 laps, you know, have fun. That's the main point. But muscle memory, train your muscle memory, the braking points, the turning.
How you turn in, maybe,
yes.
where you should accelerate, coming on the corner.
Feeling of brake.
Yeah.
I practice my left leg braking on simulator all the time.
I see.
Yes.
I see. Which you have a DCT clutch car, so you can do it. In cars with manual drivers, maybe don't do that. Yeah. But it's also a good chance to practice certain things you would not be able to do in real life, and see whether you can do it in real life or not. But you know, you still got to be moderate. Very good point. So guys, that was a video about how you can compare and use simulators into real life. And today we're at Tsukuba Circuit. Indra has had a really good time at first session, and we found that it really helps a lot. I remember using that kind of training into real life. But also be careful that, you know, safety is always a priority. You're on a track, and it's not really a game, but the games can help in a certain way. And so if you like this video and you would like us to do maybe more similar ones, maybe on other circuits, some similar circuits which do not appear in the game, which is more realistic, like Sodegawa, which is a lot about in Japan, let us know in the comments below. So until next time, peace out.